Eden receives scolding words as news gets around about her and Tim's encounters. Perri learns a shocking truth in court. Bree and Alf have a heart-to-heart, but not before she feels like Remy's asking everyone to spy on her. And Marilyn's calling in the big guns.
How well do you know the defendant?
I'd say pretty well.
So you'd know if he was upset, or angry, or traumatized?
Yes, I would.
No further questions.
I'd like to raise a couple of follow-ups, Your Honor.
I'll allow it.
Could you please tell the court how you and the defendant first met?
He came to a youth program I was running.
What did this program entail?
A whole lot of things.
Like martial arts?
Well, more than that, but yes.
What, more than grappling, choking, and restraining people?
Skills that could save your life.
Or end someone else's?
Objection.
Tell me, Mr. Parata, is it possible that you taught Perri Hayes just a little too well?
Objection, Your Honor.
I withdraw my question.
We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
Right, Sophie, that's enough. I suggest you heed the Defence Counsel's advice.
Oh, am I in trouble? What am I on trial for?
I don't know. Just love a bit of a courtroom. Do you know what I mean?
I do love a courtroom drama. Yes.
Yeah.
And
How
love
are
seeing
you?
it. Love seeing it, not being told about it as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
not sitting outside. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Yes, I'm all
yeah.
right.
Good.
Tired. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been away and I've literally flown home and we're recording. So
I know. You did the red eye right back to the UK and then jumped on a podcast with me, didn't you?
yeah, if that's not dedication, I don't know what is.
I know.
I know.
Absolutely.
So I'm on a half an hour sleep. This could go either way. Just to warn you.
Oh dear. I'm looking forward to it. It's good to have you back.
Oh, thank you. Well, I've not been anywhere really, have I?
I know, but I feel like I haven't spoke to you. Although everyone else will think we talked last week, I feel like I haven't spoke to you for ages. So
I know. Well, with time and everything, time difference, because we're normally on constantly, aren't we, about the show?
yeah.
And I've not been watching the show on time, and so we've been a bit, never mind, I'm back. Normal
You're
service.
Back. Yes,
normal
welcome
service.
home.
Missed you
Welcome home.
lots.
I know.
First thing I do is drop my bags and ring you up on here. So do you know what I mean?
Can't ask for more. Can't ask for more.
I tell you what, I had a right good time catching up on Home and Away this week, though. Right good time. What a week.
Yes, enjoyed it. Yeah, definitely.
Like we said, love a bit of a courtroom. Even didn't mind the stuff around it, actually. I thought it all blended. And the pacing was really good, I thought.
Yeah. There was a lot of heavy, wasn't there? We needed some, because like some of the lighter stuff I wasn't necessarily that invested in, but it was needed because some of the heavy stuff was like, if it had just been all the heavy stuff, it would have been a lot, wouldn't it? So
yeah. And it's really helping Marley's cause. I know last week I said to you.
Hang on, where's the book?
Yeah. Have you still got a spare page?
Oh, I'm writing in the margins now. Go on, what you saying?
I even was a bit like, oh, he's a little anxious about getting on the camera and
God.
Save me. You need to try and save me.
I think you're beyond help now. This is beyond. I don't even think even Tim can help you. I'm gonna have to find I'm gonna have to get Dr. Logan in. I think it's that bad. I think it's PTSD now.
Can we at least try Tim?
We could try Tim. Yeah, we can try him.
Given
Yeah.
what he does with
With
patience and
Yeah.
So I need some sort form of intervention, I think,
Yeah,
because
you do. You
even
definitely.
I didn't make notes on it, but
Good.
mainly for your benefit. But I didn't, I felt for the guy. He's
Oh God.
he, he had me. He had me.
Oh
Um,
dear. Oh.
yeah.
Mm.
Is that all you've got? Like a stern.
I
Oh
just
dear.
can't. I just can't with this guy. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't care. It was, do you know what? I will say something positive. It was nice to see him laughing and joking with Kirby because I didn't know
There
he
we
had
go.
teeth. I didn't know he had teeth because I'd never seen him smile before. So that was good, but I still don't really give any kind of shit about him at all. I'll be honest. I'm sorry.
There we go.
Yeah.
Not mincing of words.
No, not really. Sorry,
No,
Marley. Like, no, it's nothing about the actor. It's just I just don't like Marley as a character. I've gone off him. So
At least I'm open to change. You know what I mean?
I used to like him when he first joined. He was all protective over Mac, and he was like, take like the Dean replacement, as everyone kept calling him. He was all right back then, but I find him really dull now.
I'm just way more fickle than you in it. That's what it is. So anyway, that's that. That's that covered. I've not even made any notes.
Covered.
That's all you need to know. Yeah.
Marley done. Thank God. Yeah.
Shall we talk about this week's Home and Away? Or what?
Yeah.
Let's do it. We started the week. You'll remember, speaking of Tim as well, he and Eden are interrupted on the sofa, shall we say. Blessed in disguise, if you ask me, and because it means she's got to tell Remy, she's got to tell someone she's leaving with the counsellor, and it's a bit fucked up. And Remy, to his credit, gives it a straight. I was quite proud of Remy because he has that side of him. We've criticised him. Well, I've definitely criticised him for it on here. The womanizing, conquering, Lothario side to him. I was a bit concerned that his response might have been, "It's your business," especially that he's got a lot of heavy stuff going on with his missus at the minute. I just thought he was not interfering, but he was firm and being like, "That's not on, girl." He gave. I think he said a few things that she needed to hear, even if she wasn't ready to hear them, basically. So I thought it was good the way that went down. The colour does drain out of his face when she says it. So that tells us as the audience as well that we're right to our response last week was correct. Like, what the hell, And he basically says in a roundabout way everything you said on last week's podcast, Sophie. He's actually, or Eden, should I say, is actually confirming everything that Abs is saying. We've come on here and called her a brat and called her this and called her that for holding on to these childhood grudges. But, she's going into this counselling, she's entrusting this fella with all her inner woes. And a lot of that is the jealousy stuff with Eden, the abandonment stuff with Eden, the Eden's got main character energy and I've got nothing, and then she goes and does this. So Remy saw it right away, and that validated our response. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Interesting. It's interesting when Remy's the voice of reason, isn't it?
Very. You're in for it because he's a very unreasonable person. You're right. He does say to her though, he leaves it on like a bit of a Remy, because you've got to have your Remy lines. He'll come back to bite ya, things like that. As he's leaving the room. And now Cash finally catches up with her. Remember he was leaving and then he wasn't. He finally catches up with her, doesn't he? And he says, "I'm not leaving the bay anymore. What do you think? Do you think that's okay?" She snaps at him. Now, for all the sort of ag we need to give Eden for her actions here, I also liked this response. I can't lie. when she had a go at him saying, "Why are you messing with me? Stay, go, I don't care anymore. Do what you want, you will anyway." And I thought, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
can't blame
And
her.
I agree. No, and I think you've every right to be upset about that. You know, you hung on and hung on and hung on for him. Was it last week or the week before? And we said there was that moment in Salt where she had to let him go. It was like
Mm.
her just sort of letting go. Why? We was this an inevitable road, Sophie, basically, that Cash was always going to come round in the end after he's finished punishing himself and all the rest of it, and grief and all that mixed up stuff that gets thrown in? Was this inevitable road where she's going to move on and he's going to decide he loves her anyway and it's going to be a mess? Or could we have done this a different way?
I think it's inevitable in terms of making a more interesting storyline, because if they just got back together and everything was just swept under the carpet, we wouldn't have much to talk about, would we, on here? So I
True.
think this way makes it more entertaining, especially with the Tim, the sort of love triangle that she's in now. I love a love triangle. And obviously what was interesting about Cash's change of heart was it kind of came from Levi. He had that conversation with him and said, "Are you sure this is what you want, mate? Sure you want to leave her? Messing her around and all that sort of stuff." And he changed his mind and wanted to stay after that. And obviously now Levi he's the first person to hear that Eden's been sleeping with the counsellor. So it's like, oh, this is quite interesting, the way that's all interwoven. So I'm quite enjoying this, the way they've done it.
Yeah, I know. I take what you're saying, actually, because I did enjoy it, like you say, after Levi's brought into the loop, and later in the week, obviously he's not happy. Absolutely not happy. He's worried about fragile labs from 5. Eden has this scene. It was a really nice scene. If nice is probably not the right adjective, I'll think another while I chit chat. Where she meets with Tim, doesn't she, and says, "This is off. Like, we can't do this. This is wrong. This is bad." Cut to the next morning. Do you want a coffee, doll? So it's that lack of care that Eden seems to have for Abs. That's how she's going to see this when this all comes out in the wash.
Yeah,
she's going to interpret this as, you don't give two hoots about me. Never have, never will.
Yeah, especially because it'll come after this letter now, won't it? So this letter where she's kind of saying, "Oh yeah, I've been a bit of a brat and I've blamed you when I shouldn't have, and actually I'm really proud of you and I hope you're proud of me, and I know you wouldn't."
I love you.
Yeah, and she says one line, which is, "I know you wouldn't do anything on purpose to hurt me," and I thought, oh, that's going to come back to bite her on the arse, definitely.
And I was watching it because Eden seems very emotionless, very cold with it, because that's such, obviously she wells up and she gets upset reading the letter, doesn't she, in that moment, but then it doesn't seem to affect her actions afterwards. When it comes to Tim, or when it comes to anything else, it's like it's more related to acting out against everybody and everything because she's been through such a shit time lately.
Yeah.
And that seems to sort of supersede her emotions. And she just it's almost not possessed, but it's almost like she becomes a different person who can't feel the things she was feeling when she was reading the letter. Am I articulating this very well?
No, you're right. I think you're right, because I think that first thing I thought, because when she was crying reading the letter, I thought it was guilt. I thought it was, oh, she's just said, I know you wouldn't do anything intentional to hurt me, and I know you're a good sister, and I know you're there for me, and you've got my back, and all that sort of stuff. And then she's sitting there reading it, thinking, well, actually, oh God, I'm actually, I'm shacking up with the counsellor behind her back, and she doesn't know this. And I thought it was guilt. I thought that's what the tears were about. But I think now that she just kind of instantly jumped into bed with Tim, almost straight away, I'm like, it can't have been guilt, because she wouldn't have been able to do that. So what is it then? Was she crying because Abby said something nice about her and it's the first time she's ever done that? I couldn't quite work out what the tears were about after that. So you're right. It's hard to pin down how she's thinking and what her reasoning is for doing stuff. It's hard to work out where she is, but maybe that's just meant to be. She's in such a mess with Flip dying and Cash, flip-flopping and not knowing whether it's what day of the week it is, really, how he feels about her. Are we
Yeah.
supposed to be thinking Eden's brain is a bit of a mess, and that's why she's not really acting how we expect her to?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. What else can you take from it other than
Hmm.
that? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
Remy even interprets it as she's falling for the guy.
Yeah.
Happiest she's been in ages. There's a third, that's a third way of interpreting what's going on. You know, like uh, it's a whole. You're right. I think is it supposed to be telling us this is a mess and there is no, there is no. It's all of the above mixed
Yeah.
up, and it's
Yeah.
coming out in all sorts of ways. Don't know.
Yeah.
It's clever. It's clever the way they've done that, and I think they've just pulled it off. If that is what they were aiming for.
But
If
then
not,
how do you feel about Tim? You know, off the back of this, so Tim's counselling Abby, and then Eden's brain is a mess, and you know we can kind of understand that. We can kind of understand why she's doing it, even though she shouldn't be doing it. But what do we think about Tim? I don't know where to place him in terms of
no,
his
I don't
morals,
think much of him.
his
Don't think much
ethics.
of him. No, exactly.
No.
Do you know, like when this the scene where he and Eden are sort of basically agreeing to keep it on the DL, and it's like, but there's one rule, I don't talk about Abby, or you don't talk about me to Abby. I'm thinking, well, that's part of her recovery. If in a professional setting, how are you going to avoid talking about Eden? Why?
Yeah.
So and then I'm like, he's making false promises to Eden already.
Mm.
He's already lying to Abby,
Yeah.
and undermining her trust. Don't think much of him, to be honest.
No, I don't.
Mm.
I don't. Yeah.
No,
Weird. Very weird.
Yeah, it's weird, and I'm going out on a limb here. We've said it. We're not doing spoilers this year, are we, or anything? So we've got absolutely no idea, and this is genuine. If he's around next month, I'll be shocked.
Really?
Like, yeah, because
that quickly.
This is about the Fowlers, isn't it? It's not about Tim and Eden. If anything, it's about Eden and Cash, despite what she's saying. He feels like a fleeting guestie. He doesn't feel like someone who's going to be about and, in an established coupling or anything like that. To me, I could be wrong. Don't know.
No, I can't see a long-term future for them, really. I'll be honest. But then I thought that about Mac and Levi as well. I don't know. It's a bit weird, isn't it?
You raise a good point.
There's kind of like similarities. I mean, even she said that, you were shagging your patient and, you can't really, throw the book at me for this. When he was saying you can't sleep with your sister's counsellor, it's not on. Yeah. And it kind of did remind me of that. This time last year, we were slagging off the whole Levi creeping around and with Mac.
Yeah.
And the ethics and the morals of that.
Yeah. And the favourite colours. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And yet now I'm sitting with Levi looking at him now and thinking, poor bloke. And I've completely done a 360 with him. Or 180. Is it 180?
Wait, I've got my own book. Hang on. We've all got books here.
We've got books. I do. I feel like I've proper come the other way with him, because this time last year I was like, oh, I can't stand this guy, he's a creep, blah blah blah. And now I'm saying that about Tim, and Levi's there trying to just be the rock for his sisters, and in the middle of it all, and listening to Eden and listening to Abby, and then and then I actually felt sorry for him when he got that thrown back in his face. And I was like, oh God, but I hated that last year. I hated the affair and the fact, and I thought he was a fly by night, not going to stick around kind of guy. Him and Mac weren't going to go anywhere. And so now I don't know about Tim, because I'm like, well, could he still be here in a year? And I might like him in a year, because I don't know. Weird.
It's one or two, isn't it? Either they rack off, or they get redeemed, and Levi is obviously the redemption stuff.
Yeah.
But what does worry me is it at the cost of Eden?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Have we redeemed Levi to the detriment of Eden? Throughout all this. Not only is Eden, the baddie and with Cash, and she's saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing when it comes to the organ donor. She couldn't be there for Flick and all that stuff, and then now she's responsible for literally all the shit in all the Fowlers family backstory.
I know.
Like it's all on her shoulders.
Yeah, it is.
Why they're all so messed up. There's no, and Levi's coming out smelling of roses.
He is a bit, yeah. And we didn't really need Tim for that, did we? Because I don't think we needed to pull Eden into this love triangle, ethical, question and all of that sort of stuff, and like going behind Abby's back. I don't think we needed that, because I think we could have redeemed Levi just by him healing the rift between the three siblings.
Yeah.
And like supporting Abby and supporting Eden through the Flick's death and the breakup with Cash. We didn't need Tim thrown into the mix really for all of that to happen, but obviously it makes it a bit more interesting from a soap fan point of view. So
of course, it's Cash's too little too late,
exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, he's got demoted at work and he seems happy with that, so
he's got less stripes on his shoulder.
Maybe he'll be fine with sloppy seconds from Tim. Who knows?
Oh God.
Who knows? Right, Mr. Stewart. Now, I'm keen to talk about this a little bit with you, because knowing what you and Mr. Stewart are like, he's opening up. He's opening up to Marilyn, isn't he, about feeling down, and there's something going on with him. He took himself off to Marimbula, didn't he, after that whole thing at the hospital, and Marilyn fills him in about the tribunal. Actually, I'd like to see a bit more. I know Marilyn sort of filled him in, but I felt like I wanted more dialogue, between the two, because they're just two iconic characters and their scenes are just gorgeous. We sort of started to see it. So look, there was this thing at the hospital and Bree had to go in and give evidence and cut. Come on, let's hear a bit more about you explaining it, sort of thing. Because I think Alf, and this is an opinion, this is what I think Alf would have said to her, did you really need to go that hard? Because he's a softie. I think he would have been like, I really appreciate you looking out for Marilyn, but did you have to go that hard on Bree? When he finds out. So I would have liked a bit more dialogue, but I am being picky. He then goes over to see it, which I did really enjoy, because we don't often get yarns between Bree and Alf, if ever. Actually, those are two characters that don't really have anything to do with each other, absolute squat to do with each other, really, do they? Other than her kid trying to kill him. And he does the Alf thing. I can't remember whether it was first look or whether it was the main episode. We were like, Alf's not going to be like tyrant Marilyn. Like, you tried to kill me, you wench. He's going to go in there and go, what's going on with you? And he does, and he just does that warm, fuzzy Alf thing, doesn't he? And goes in and he's like, are you okay? Typical Alf. And they find common ground as a result of it, about their mental health. And he's, he sort of confides in her without saying anything. I took that as Alf's first attempt at telling someone he's not okay. And she's like, oh, it's mental health, and he sort of goes, oh yeah, I know what that's like. I'm thinking, that's Alf crying out for help. Somebody listen to Alf. It was gorgeous. But yeah, what were your take on that bit? Because I was watching it thinking of you, thinking she's going to be in bits.
I know, I was in bits, actually. The whole thing with Mr. Stewart had me in bits, because before we had the Bree stuff, obviously he was shouting at everybody, he was snapping at everybody, which it tells you he's in strife, doesn't it? Because he was he had to go at Marilyn and Leah when they're sort of hanging around the house and let's go for a walk. And he's like, you can, I'm going to bed, and then Palmer came round and he was like, oh, I've got to get off the phone, Martha. I've got Palmer here yakking me ear off, and then told him to rack off. What do you think we're paying you for? Go and do your job, Palmer, So we'd already had like kicks off at people, and I was like, oh God, this is Alf struggling and pushing people away and saying, I'm fine. And it's absolute rubbish. He's not fine when he's acting like this. So I've kind of was watching him thinking, I'm waiting for I can remember when he had his PTSD breakdown, that broke me. And I was kind
Yeah.
of on the edge of the sofa thinking, are we going down that route? Is he going to go really dark into this? Are we going to lose Alf for a bit? Like, oh,
Because he seems to be staring into nothingness, doesn't he? Staring
yeah,
at the sea, staring at the wall, and you're thinking,
I
this
know.
guy's really deep inside there.
I know, and it's
Um,
really hard to sort of get through to him when he's like that, because he is that
mm,
kind of stiff upper lip boomer, I'll deal with my
yeah,
problems. But
yeah,
also, to give him his dues, he is getting better at saying stuff out loud, and that's why I really enjoyed the Bree conversation. I'm really glad he had that conversation with her. Although I did want him to yell at her, I'll be honest. I did want him to go around and go, "You bloody tried to kill me, woman!" But it was nice to see him do the softly, softly, because it was
mm,
like you say, it was him admitting to us, to the audience, that he knows about this. He knows about struggling with mental health, and he knows when he does, and he knows the warning signs. And it was kind of like him checking himself, I think, which I think we needed to
yeah,
see.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it was
I
sad.
agree. I think have I missed something though? Because I'm a bit like, is that what he's down about? Like, is it
I
the
don't
hospital
know.
stuff?
Yeah, I don't know, because we don't really know. Like, obviously, he went back to see Martha, didn't he? But he came
Mm,
back so fast. I don't feel like he was
mm,
with Martha for very long, and then he's back in the bay. So I was like, did something else happen while he was with Martha? I
yeah.
don't know.
Well, Leah rings her up
I know,
later in the
yeah.
week, and she's like, "Dunno, Dal, but it was a bit off. He was a bit quiet, not himself." It's your husband, for God's sake.
I know. Well, she's just flaky kidney bitch, isn't she?
Can't believe he married her
Love of his life, apparently,
twice.
Si. Love of his life.
Oh,
Not buying it. I'm still not buying that. Oh dear.
yeah.
No, I know. I mean, she's just a flake,
You
isn't
can't
she? I
just
mean,
unwrite Elsa. Sorry.
I'm sorry,
Um,
you just cannot. You cannot.
there was some
Mm.
comedy in it though. There was some comedy because Leah's all like, "Since when does Alf go to salt?" Well, which I did laugh at. when John saw him in there, someone saw him in salt, like staring into a cup of coffee. And she's like, "Since when does he go there?"
I can't get up the stairs now.
Oh, there might have been starred a Stenner.
Oh yeah, maybe. Those
Mm.
stairs look really, really thin. Those like they kind of what? It's really
They
weird.
do wobble.
They don't look very health and safety, fire escape safety. You know
No.
what I mean? Like that first floor restaurant has only got them stairs as an exit, unless you jump over the balcony, I assume. But someone needs to do a health and safety check on that building. Palmer, come on.
Yeah, get the ring binder out, Palmer. And that's not a euphemism.
Love it. Oh dear.
It does end up becoming sort of less about Alf and his mental health and more about Bree agreeing to a mental health assessment, doesn't it, really? That conversation, which is another important development, to be honest, a much needed one for her in her storyline. And she's had another sort of tumultuous week where she's rumbled Remy having half the base spying on her, and has hit out at that, and it ends up being Levi once again, that makes her see sense that she can't fight this alone. You remember last week she was agreeing to do it all alone to save her career. So it sounds like she's agreeing to accept help. So again, that conversation between her and Alf, she seemed to get a lot more from it, and I'm just left feeling a bit bewildered about what it is Alf's got going on. He's not saying enough yet,
No, I don't feel like it's over. No, but then
no.
I can't predict where we're going with it.
Well, we know. Well, Marilyn's called the big guns.
Oh God, well, yeah. You know my feelings on this.
So
Don't need to say anything.
She's come docking. She's doing a Jane McD.
Oh God.
And she's coming off the cruise. So Rue's going to be back next. We're expecting her back next week. I'm assuming imminently.
Imminently.
To come and sort her dad out.
Hopefully, with a new personality that I can get on board with.
Well, let's see, because her and Alf at each other's throats all the time isn't my favourite Rue and Alf. I'm
No,
gonna admit.
no.
So we'll see what happens, eh? We're all braced. All braced. Let's hope there's a storm at sea. Right. Perri and his court case, which is the biggest plot this week and the most exciting. I was gripped watching this earlier on. His court case is looming, isn't it, earlier in the week, and he's still not got that key witness that everyone's been looking for, that no one can find, and everyone's like, he's going to need a miracle to stay out of prison. Well, in fact, Tane says that verbatim because I've quoted it. And to top it all off, like, what do these notes say? To top it all off, Dad's a she's arrived. What am I typing here?
Dad's a she? What?
Dad's a she. Dad's ashes.
Oh. Get you.
Well, it doesn't look like it's all of them.
No, I think
Does
it's
it?
just a handful, isn't it?
What the hell's going on there? I've got more ashes for my cat.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but you're right. Oh, no.
What was that box?
I don't know. Maybe they only send you a little bit in Australia. I don't know. Oh, dear.
I do get swept up in scattering ashes scenes in the sea, though.
Yes.
I do get swept up in all that. I just think, we always talk about the setting of the show and how gorgeous it is. It just lends itself so well for these heart-wrenching things. The water. Yeah. There's something dramatic about the sea, isn't there?
Yes.
So he obviously, he's scattering his ashes about, not before sort of locking himself up in his bedroom. I think, is it Cantona, the actor, he's done an absolute, the young actor who's played Perri has done an absolute blinder. The turmoil on his face, the arguments with Tane. He actually comes out and says to Tane, which had me screaming at the TV, your name actually. And he's like, why have I listened to you? What do you know? You've done, you've not done anything good for me. I just loved it. He just sort of was saying things you've been banging about on here. Like he has not helped me. He's made it worse. And then when you hear Perri say them, it was just, it was just so good. It was just a good payoff.
I know that kid can cry as well, and every time he cries, I just feel absolutely like someone just grabbed my heart and just pulled it, and I'm like, I just feel gut wrenched every time he cries. It's so good. I know there are some people who are not loving Perri Chicken as much as we are. I've got some comments on You'll Say on the Bay later, but for me, I just think he's brilliant. I think that Cantona's played him absolutely brilliantly. He's really pulled my heartstrings. And I think he's made the storyline because Tane's pissed me off so much with how he's behaved. Yeah. If Perri's portrayal wasn't as good, this storyline for me could have made me really cold. But I think because he's played it so well, it's made it more believable.
I agree. He's been the star of this.
He has.
This storyline. Even this week, Tane is saying to him, it's your last day of freedom.
Oh, no.
Is this how you're going to spend it? Sat on your bedroom floor?
Wow. He's just horrible. I'm sorry. This guy. This guy.
I can't watch any of these scenes without picturing you just spitting fire in the living room.
Honestly.
So they're scattering the ashes, and then he's decided that, you know what, I'm not going to go to court tomorrow. I'm going to go on the run again, which made me gasp. And then Tane caught him, which made me gasp twice. And chases him, and he's like, I can't do this. Basically, I'm going away either way, whether I go inside or go on the run. I'm going away. You can't stop me. I'm not going to do it. And Rose sees them, and then I gasp 3 times. But she's not a very good police officer, so I don't know why I wasted precious air gasping. She just sends them on the way. And then
like,
he gets back.
you're in the park in the middle of the night with the backpack. What could possibly be going on
Yeah,
here the night before your trial?
Your murder trial, yeah.
And we're just
on
out
you
for
go.
a walk. All right, okay. Make sure you get a good sleep.
Stupid cow.
I mean, thank God she is stupid, but yeah.
I know. So next day, the court arrives and he does go looking for Rose because that could have been interesting. She'd have been losing a stripe if he didn't turn up to court. And it does not go well, does it? Especially when Tane takes the stand. I mean, this is all the stuff I'm lapping up, It's got all the courtroom drama buzzwords in it, Objection, Your Honour. No, Your Honour. Be quiet. You're in contempt. Loving it. Loving it. But Tane takes the stand, and the prosecution try and argue that Tane was basically training him to be a martial arts killing machine, which I do love. I do love that angle.
Even though I think they only did that twice.
I know.
Or at least that we saw. I think he only did a couple of sessions with him. I don't think he made him into like Bruce Lee overnight. You know what I mean?
No. But I just love that that's the angle they went with. And everyone like shit a brick when they said it. I just loved it. Oh, all the better to strangle people with. Yeah. Okay. During the court goes to recess, another, courtroom drama buzz the word. And Perri says, you should let me go. I never should have listened to you. All the stuff that Sophie's been screaming at the TV and to me on the podcast every week since this storyline started. I can't believe you made me do this. I could have been gone and I'm now facing murder. And Perri's lawyer then comes in at the final hour with a witness. Court, please welcome Kaya Hayes to the courtroom. And then all hell breaks loose. I've woken my partner up because I was watching this while they were trying to sleep, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? All the camera starts turning and going round. Perri's just like, huh? His mum. His mum walks into court. So what the hell?
We didn't get Ghost Dad. Mom. We wanted Ghost Dad last week. We got Ghost Mum, who's not actually a ghost, didn't we? Instead.
What the hell? What the hell? And where the hell did they find her?
Where did they find her? And why didn't they tell? This is what I was literally screaming at the TV, because not only was I like, so she's not dead, but also I was like, so no one took Perri to one side? 10 minutes before he saw his mum walk into the courtroom and went, by the way, your mum's alive. Yeah. Like, tell him in private, for God's sake, the poor kid. He's turned into Haley Joel Osment in bloody Sixth Sense. I see dead people, because he's just seen his dead mum walk into court. Yeah.
That is horrendous treatment of a teenager. I'm sorry. That if he wasn't scarred for life already from all his domestic abuse growing up, he'll be scarred now.
And the fact he's killed his dad. So he's got all this domestic abuse. He thought his mum was dead for most of his life.
I forgot
He's killed his dad. He's now on trial for murder. And his mum's just walked in the room with no one giving him a heads up. I mean, could you shit on this kid more? I don't know. It's awful.
It was horrendous. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I could not believe what I was seeing. I was really. I mean, do you know what? From a selfish soap viewer perspective, it was good. It was a great twist.
Oh, it was great, but I was just like, this poor kid can't take any more of this stuff. I don't think I can on his behalf. Oh dear. Yeah.
Why did nobody say your mum's not dead and she's here in the next room? Why did nobody say that?
It just takes 2 minutes to say that, for God's sake.
Well, he's not letting her off lightly, is he? She takes the stand and explains that she had to leave because, he threatened to kill Perri if she didn't, which is flimsy at best, as Morag would say.
Mhm.
The court gets adjourned again, and she tries to talk to him. He's having none of it. And do you know what? Good on you, lad. It's about time you started thinking about yourself.
Yeah.
I really agreed with it. Tane then tries to talk him round.
Mm.
I think he just about managed it, but it's too late. It's time for verdict. But him telling his mum to go to hell, there was these moments where they tried to talk, especially after the verdict, because he was found innocent, wasn't he? Which, on account of murder, I think I agree with. Manslaughter, maybe not. It's all a bit weird because the whole investigation's been botched, hasn't it? So you just have to Jenny this whole court case, don't you? All the charges are all wrong, but never mind. We are where we are. So he's free, and there's a man dead. And they're trying to talk, and Harper and Tane are trying to get it all set up, and then it doesn't, and then they get set up again, and he hears her out, and he says, I've not heard you say one thing about anyone but yourself. Since you've been it, how hard you had it. It was harder to stay, and that's even just beyond the basic of, you thought he was going to kill me, so you left me with him. I mean, that's just basic. That's just basic surface level stuff. Let alone you sound like a narcissistic woman who didn't want to find me. What mother would leave their child with a killing, someone who's threatened to kill him, and not go and try and look for him?
Yeah, exactly. This is where it falls down for me. I mean, I can understand her being scared of Perry's dad because he was a scary bloke, and I can understand that kind of dynamic of it, and she wanted to get away from him. And if he had threatened to kill Perri, in front of her, that's horrific. Like, it's awful. But like you, I'm struggling because it's like, I wouldn't leave my child alone with someone that's threatened to kill them. And I just couldn't do it. No matter what the circumstances were, I'd be trying to get us both out of that situation, whatever that took. So I'm struggling with that one. And I'm also struggling with the fact that Tane is kind of defending her to Perri and saying give her a chance, and when he was so judgmental. Do you remember about when he found baby gym bag on the beach, and everyone was saying, oh, the mum must be really suffering, she must have gone through something awful, no mother wants to abandon their child. And he was like, oh, I don't care, if you're a mum, you stick around and you just do what you can for your kid. And he was like, real mums don't do this. And he's not being as judgy about Perry's mum. And I'm like, Perry's mum's doing all the stuff that you said about baby Jim Bag's mum, and you're not even you're just going, oh, give her a chance, family. His idea of family values, he just makes it up as he goes along.
And you know what he does? You've hit the nail on the head. He makes it up as he goes along, because he does all that you've just said. And then later in the week, when Harper's like, oh, you're going to miss him, aren't you? And he's like, oh, yeah. He's then deciding that he doesn't want him to go after all. Doesn't want him to reconcile with mum, because he might have to leave. Hello, which is it?
Exactly. And he's barely paid him any attention for weeks. And now he's like, oh, he might go and I might not see him anymore. And it's like, well, what have you actually done to help him anyway? He's only done for murder because of you. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. The whole thing's just nuts. Yeah.
It is.
When you get to the end of something really good, and it's just a bit meh at the end.
Yeah. And I don't think that's Perri. I think Perri's played it brilliantly. The actor. I think, and I don't think I'd criticize anything that Perri's done. But the mum, the excuse and the reason that we've got for mum is falling a little bit too unbelievably for me. And Tane, the family values flip-flop, picks and chooses what he thinks is good and bad in terms of parenting. And the fact that he's flip-flopping in terms of his parental responsibility for Perri as well. I still feel cold. He's just not won me round at all with the storyline.
Also, let's not even mention he's saying all this stuff to Harper, and I bet he's not even bought one nappy yet.
He's not thought about it, has he?
No.
Yeah. No.
But that's that. We'll leave that for another day.
If I was her, I'd be making plans to run away myself. Honestly.
I would. Yeah.
He's a red flag.
I'd be doing a Perry's mama.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. So yeah, you took me a while, but you got me over the line with him. Don't worry. Uh,
Oh, dear.
now we're in this position where Perry's angry with the world. He's
Mm.
lost everything. Mum is sort of almost placing the blame with him by him not wanting to talk to her, and she's laying on the guilt, really, if you ask me, when he doesn't have to answer to anything. He's the child in this situation, and he's been left. She should be facing charges.
Yeah. Yeah.
She left a child in care of someone who, this is on her, actually. That domino ripple effect. The events and reason how he's ended up in court today, you could argue, start with her leaving that day.
But she said something about how she came back to check on him and he was playing basketball, so she thought, oh, he's all right. I was like,
yeah, that was
no,
odd. That was
I'm
odd.
sorry.
I feel like we're just writing in things now to try and humanize her.
Yeah.
Because this introducing her as being alive after all this and all the backstory and how tragic Perri is and everything, it was great shock value, wasn't it? It was that, like I said to you, I gasped 3, 4, 5 times, nearly fainted, right? But after that shock and that twist in the storyline, it's a mess.
Yeah,
it doesn't work, does it?
No.
And it's an example of shock value, and then not really knowing what to do with it, and then it's made it a little bit crap. Then.
Yeah.
Is that too honest? I don't know.
No, I agree. It feels like a lot of the storyline's been over weeks and weeks, and then this last week, everything's been kind of crammed into a couple of episodes, hasn't it, really? And it's like, oh, here's the reason why I left, and here's the reason why I didn't come back, and I came to see you and you were playing basketball twice and you looked happy, so I figured, I'll just leave you to it, doll. We could have done with some more context, but I think, if that's all we're going to get is a couple of scenes with her, they can't really give us loads more information, I guess.
I'll be miffed if that is it. Like next week, he sails off into the sunset with her. I'll be so miffed. If we're getting a, parental guardianship type battle, or sort of co-parenting type storyline with Tane and the mum coming up, I'm willing to listen. If there's development to come, maybe that could save it for me, but I don't want to speak too soon. Do you know what I mean?
No,
because I feel like it's been done for the shock of her being alive, and now it's like, okay, spin it up, wind it up, off we go.
And ultimately, I don't know how I want it to end as a storyline, but ultimately I want it to end with a good storyline for Perri, because I just feel like he's just gone from crap to crap his whole life. And even this week I was feeling really uncomfortable because, he was saying, I've made a life for myself here and people care about me here. And his mum was going, oh, I can see that he's got like really good people that care about him. And I was like, barely? Like, Tani's barely noticed him the last few weeks. He's been too busy running around after Harper and the baby. And I feel like, again, he's had nobody in his corner. His dad wasn't really supportive. The way that his dad explained his mum's death to him was horrible. He just sat there watching TV going, oh yeah, your mum's dead in a car crash, she ain't coming home, son, what do you want for dinner? It's just like horrendous. And I just feel like this storyline now, however it's got to end, it's got to end with Perri going and doing something for himself. It's going to make him happy, whatever that might be. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Just to just to tie him up.
Like he needs to go out and do something for himself. I don't know whether that's go to uni or go traveling or get a job, or I don't know. I just feel like he needs to break away from all these people that have been awful to him and just make a life for himself now. And I don't know. I don't know what that would be, though, to be honest. I don't want any more heartbreak for him. I think it's just too tragic. It's too tragic. Right, Si, I think our lovely listeners have probably heard enough about what we think. Shall we try and find
Yes.
out what other people think about Homers this week?
Shall we?
Shall we? Should we find out what other people think? So, as regular listeners will know, this segment is where I spend some time digging through social medias, reading comments and reactions from people that have watched Home and Away in the UK this week. And then I'm going to read them out to everybody because it's your say on the bay.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Before we
The
do that, though,
delirium's setting in. Sorry. Did you need a woohoo?
woohoo! Woo-hoo. Anyway, I don't know. I think I'm joining you. I think the wine's gone to my head. Oh dear. Never mind. You've got jet lag and I've got wine brain. So before we do that, we are on social media, aren't we? So search for us. We're Coastal News Podcast at Coastal News Pod. Facebook, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, Twitter, Blue Sky. There's so many now. I struggled to put all the stuff on last week. I was like, where else have I got to post this? Oh dear. Logging in and out. You probably got loads of notifications on holiday going, this iPhone has logged in.
Yeah, I did. And you were like, this is me, Dal, don't panic.
It's
Don't
me.
call the
It's not
feds.
hacker. It's not hacking. We're everywhere. We're on all the platforms now. I did struggle. And also, were you going to say something?
I was going to crack a joke about spreading thin, but it passed.
I'm sorry, I ruined the joke. I'm sorry.
It's
Oh
alright.
dear. I wish I was spreading thin. I wish I was spread thin because January has been unkind to my waistline. But anyway, not just January, December as well. A quick reminder though, we tweet along with the show. We watch it 6:30 p.m. Monday to Friday in the UK on 5-star. And what we do when we're watching it is we jump on X, formerly known as Twitter. We use the Home and Away UK hashtag to avoid the spoilers on the Home and Away hashtag. So if you want to join the conversation, just jump on Twitter, on X, at 6:30 Monday to Friday, and there's a good little discussion going on. There's a good group of people on there. It's good fun. But if you don't do social medias and you can't join the tweet along, you can always email us as well, coastalnewspod@gmail.com. So yes, we'd love to hear from you. Love to hear your thoughts.
Yes.
And we're going to start with thoughts about Tim and the Fowler family.
Fowler family therapy.
Let's see what people are saying. So some of these tweets are actually from last week because we didn't manage to do your Sound the Bay last week. So I've grabbed some from last week. But they're still relevant. They're still relevant because it's still going on. The storyline's still there. So talk about Tim to start with. Mr. David says on Twitter, I bet you a burger from the diner that Tim is going to be trouble.
Well,
yeah.
Rules don't seem to phase him. So yeah.
No, ethics, morals, all of that. Professionalism, not shagging your patient's sister. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of up there really, isn't it, as for counsellor etiquette.
He's got the start of a soap villain thing going on, hasn't he?
Yeah.
On some level.
And you remember when you were saying, wouldn't it be good if it was like someone who'd stolen the identity of Tim?
Yes.
Surname.
Yeah.
And how good that, like stalker style. So, and I'm obviously longing for that now. So I'm looking for it.
We're not the only ones because Sarah 30th Floor on Twitter also said Tim's not really a counsellor, is he? ... So Sarah's thinking something dodgy going on here as well.
He certainly doesn't dress like one.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. But Mr. David said he'll be really pissed off if Tim is just a do-gooder who loves his job, because we've not had a kidnapping scene since August and we need one. I agree. I like this kind of drama. I love the stalker drama.
Yeah.
We need it. Sarah 34 also said the Fowlers are a great family case study. How not to screw up your kids. It's true. Yeah, absolutely. Julie says Eden needs to think about Abby before she jumps in with the counsellor. Yeah.
Yeah. We said it ourselves, didn't we? Eden's not, thinking about Abby at all. And that is one of Abby's main complaints.
Yeah, exactly.
Which isn't going to help the cause, is it?
Her main complaint that Tim knows about, that Eden knows about, and the two of them are shacking up together. I mean, it's just beyond belief, isn't it, really?
It must be good sex.
You'd hope so. You'd hope so. Mr. David says, Eden, how about giving both lads the elbow and just having fun being single for a few months? Yeah.
Yeah, actually, what is wrong with that? Why does everyone have to be coupled up?
And she could probably do with being away on her own for, after Cash. I mean, she was planning to get married to him. That's a big thing. So
yeah, you don't always know what's good for you, though, do you? In those
No.
times, let's
No,
face
that's
it.
true.
Mm.
Yeah. Anyway, Jamie on Twitter says, Eden, how do you think Abs is going to feel about you getting involved with her counsellor, making it all about you again?
Yeah.
Can't argue with
Jamie.
that.
Yeah.
Can't argue. Nina says, for a second, I thought Eden was going to put family first, but no. This was the bit where she read the letter and started to cry, that we talked about in the main discussion.
We still can't work out what that was about, can we, really?
No, very weird. But Nina thought the same as me. I thought that was going to be the turnaround, the point where she goes, oh, what am I doing? I shouldn't be doing this. But no, she didn't. She just jumped into bed with him. But the heart wants what the heart wants.
And it's not just jumping into bed, though, is it? The whole thing's weird. We were saying it on the main app, it's they're hooking up, but then they're talking about a secret affair and when do they tell people, and then all the lines are so blurry. It's just a smudge.
No, it's going too fast, isn't it? I think the fact that she said I really like you, implies more than just I really fancy you. Yeah. And then obviously with Remy saying to Levi, oh, heads up, she's really happy with him. I was like, oh, this, one night and we're, relationship status already, really.
Yeah. And then there is that niggle. There is a niggle that's like, is she like a psychopath and she's just gone for him because, Abs is talking to him about her?
Oh, God. I hadn't thought about that.
Just a niggle.
Okay, I'm putting that in the book, sorry, because maybe we're looking, we're all suspecting Tim of being a wrong one, but maybe Eden's got
because Eden hates the world right now. No one cares, she's acting out a bit, isn't she?
She wants to see it burn. Yeah. Oh, interesting. You got me thinking. Yes. Okay. I went onto Facebook after I went on Twitter and got some
bloody hell.
Some fouler comments. I went on Facebook. You need to brace yourself because Pauline's back.
Hey!
Pauline's back. I'm going to read you Pauline's comment, but you have to imagine I'm saying it all in caps because it's all in caps.
Right. So if you just bear in mind, I've had 33 minutes sleep in the last 30 hours. Go on.
Okay, Pauline says, all in caps. Boring young person. This is about Abby. Boring young person causing her siblings distress. What a convoluted mess. They got her off drugs, I thought. So what more does she expect? Still needs her parents. ... There's a lot going on there, Pauline.
In other words, she's telling Abs to grow up.
Yeah, she's saying, what a convoluted mess. They got her off drugs. What more does she want them to do? And she still needs her parents.
These ungrateful youths. You get them off drugs. What more do they want? In my day, you'd say thank you, get on with it.
Yeah, stiff upper lip, all that stuff. Oh dear. Samantha on Facebook says, taking advantage of Eden, top bloke. That's obviously about Tim.
Yeah. Who's playing who? I'm getting an headache thinking about it.
Well, this is it. The sort of and the ping pong comments as well on here between whether it's Eden or whether it's Tim in the wrong. So Samantha's obviously saying Tim's a wrong and top bloke for taking advantage of Eden, and then another person, Helen's commented and saying she's not happy with Eden sleeping with the counsellor. So who are we unhappy with, really? I don't know.
We're all debating it. So
they're both to blame.
It's nice to know we're not the only ones thinking it like that. You know, everyone's struggling.
Yeah, absolutely. And another Helen says something I really don't trust about Tim. And there's a few people agreeing with that one. Kathy says I don't trust him either. So there's quite a few people like us, a few people suspicious of Tim.
I do like this moment though when you don't know if a character's bad or not, and you're all sus, and everyone's hairs are up on the back of the neck.
We've been here too many times.
I know it is a nice place to be though, isn't it? Watching Home and Away.
Oh yeah, definitely. You can tell who the long-term fans are because they're the ones that are the most suspicious of him.
Yeah.
Valerie says something's not right about ethics here. Don't think his bosses would be impressed somehow. Yeah, that's true. What would happen? I mean, she sort of said that to him this week, didn't she? She said, "Oh, we're not crossing the line, but we're sort of on it."
Yeah, riding it.
Yeah. Very much. Very much. Well, hopefully
and
not.
We're
there,
full circle to Justin and Leah's honeymoon.
Jarvis. Oh God, that's still the funniest episode I've seen in ages. And then a last comment about the Fowlers on Facebook is from Gina. So she says, Tim has taken advantage of Eden's state of mind after what Abby's been saying to her. And now with Cash leaving, Tim is a sleazebag. She's got a point there. So Tim, he's a counsellor. And obviously Eden's going through all this stuff and she's mentally fragile right now. And yet he's, not being a counsellor to her. He's being a sleaze for, to take Gina's word, sleazebag.
Yeah, very, very valid point, to be honest.
Can't argue with that. No. What about Bree then? Mr. Stewart and Bree and all of that. Should we see what people think about this one?
Bree, let's go for it.
Just as an aside about Mr. Stewart, because this was from Mr. David on Twitter and it really made me laugh. So Mr. David says, when I grow up, I want to be Mr. Stewart, but with Cash's face, Remy's body, and Levi's bank balance. I was like, you've just described the perfect man there. Oh dear, that made me laugh.
You put him into Bibbidi Bob Machine like that. What was that film? With Kelly Thingy. Weird Science.
That's it. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
We might have just dated ourselves, knowing what Weird Science is.
I think we do that every week. I think we do that anyway. Jamie says, Alf asking Bree if she's okay. He's such a lovely guy. I mean, this is what you were saying. Being a softie with her, and we like to see it. It was a nice scene, actually. It was good. Although it is heart-wrenching. Sarah 30th floor says Alf reevaluating his whole life since his near-death experience. So that's what Sarah thinks is happening. It's just
he's not saying it though, is he?
No.
It's a massive assumption, but I mean it's got to be that, hasn't it? Because we've not been told anything else.
No, I don't know whether it's because of the fact he's been in Marimbula and he's come back to the Bay and he's thinking, where do I want to be for the rest of my life? I don't know. That's what I'm worried. That's my fear, isn't it? That he's going to go, I don't want to be in the Bay anymore. I want to go back to Marimbula and spend my life there. But then why did he come back? Is it to tie up loose ends? I don't know.
He needs a couple of weeks on the cruise with Rue.
Oh no, on his own, not with Rue. Mm-hmm. We like Mr. Stewart.
Definitely get a seat at captain's table, wouldn't he?
Definitely. Probably knows him from school. Nina says, I just love Marilyn's love for Mr. Stewart. Oh, yeah. We do.
I think, definitely. I think we need to see more of them, especially as they're the only two in the house at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. We must be rattling around together in there. Caroline on Facebook says, I can't stand Bree. No one's allowed to disagree with her because she trained for 1,000,000 years to be a doctor.
That's so true.
That is her whole personality though, isn't it? That's why we're laughing.
Yeah.
I'm a doctor, because she's always saying that to Remy, isn't she? Like, oh, go and get your medical degree. Oh, come back to me when you've done 7 years of medicine.
Are you diagnosing me?
That did make me laugh. Thank you, Caroline.
Yeah, that was funny.
Severine on Facebook says, was Alf hoping that it Severine, I hope I've said that right.
Oh,
It's a good name.
interesting.
Lovely name. They say was hoping Alf would take it further and make her and the hospital accountable. This happens in the real world and they get away with it. So Severine wanted it to go a bit further and Alf not do the softly. I kind of, when I saw this scene, I kind of wanted that as well. I wanted him to go in there and yell at her because she was winding me up. But I'm not mad how it turned out, actually. I think it's, I agree with what he did.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a shame it just ended up being her. Yeah, that was him reaching out for help, I think. Like,
Yeah.
And he did it with someone obscure and unrelated to him, so he didn't get any back chat.
Mm.
You know, it's very Alf.
It is a bit, isn't it? Yeah.
Because if he'd have said that to one of the old crowd at the diner, there'd have been, there'd have been an ad in the Coastal News about it.
They would, and because she's got all of her own stuff going on, she's thinking about herself, not him. Yeah.
I'm assuming we didn't have any Coastal News klaxon entries this week either.
I don't think we heard it Coastal, apart from he did the crossword, didn't he, last week?
No, he was waving it around in shot. He wasn't he? Didn't know if anyone picked it up.
I don't think so. No, I don't think we've had any entries.
You lose people.
Unless anyone's watching the omnibus on the app or whatever. I don't know.
on the apps, the youth on the apps.
The youth on the apps. You know what I mean? I call it the crap. What's it called? The Channel 5 one. My 5. That's it.
My 5. Yeah.
My 5. It's awful.
For now,
anyway,
it's all being rebranded anyway. Yeah.
Oh yeah, still got that to come, haven't we? Yes. Helen on Facebook says, well, at least she'd finally admitted that she did wrong and she definitely needs help or this PTSD will just get worse. So yeah, to be fair, Bree has finally decided that she needs help, and that's a good thing to get to, and it wasn't dragged on too long.
No, and we all would like our hearing back from the aching.
Exactly. So end it on a positive, and from Facebook as well. So that's quite unusual. What about poor Perri? Poor Perri chicken.
Poor Perri.
Oh, it just breaks my heart just to even think about him. Before we talk about poor Perri chicken, I think people missed your tweet. You put a tweet out announcing that Laura Beale from EastEnders was the judge at Perri's trial. And I think you put it out because you were in a different time zone. I think it went out about lunchtime on our kind of timeline. So I think a lot of people missed it. So that night when we saw her at the trial, so many people sent us tweets saying, have you seen it's Hannah Waterman on Home and Away? And I was like, yes, we know, doll. I think it was Baz, Joe, Lauren and Nina. I think they were at least 3 of the however many people that sent us a tweet. So I love it that you think of us and you want to share it with us. It's so cool that you tweet us and tell us. But it was, for anyone that missed it, it was Hannah Waterman, Laura Beale from Off of EastEnders. She was the judge at the trial.
EastEnders.
Just doing this now. Apparently she lives in Australia. I didn't know this because I was like, how she's in. But yeah, apparently somebody else tweeted, oh yeah, she moved to Australia. She's been there for a while now. So.
Oh my God, why is she not a regular?
Well, yeah, or why is she not cropped up on some of these Channel 5 Australian dramas that we love so much?
Yeah.
Yeah, these mini series. You get a lot of expats on those, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Get Hannah Waterman a recurring role. Come on.
Do it.
What could she do?
I don't know. I mean, she's a judge. She's a judge in the show universe currently, isn't she? Maybe we need a legal person. There's that many legal stuff goes on in the show.
Yeah, but everyone will come mad about Morag. We do that. We'll have to be done. We'll have to do something else. What about she could be Mayor
Palmer's girlfriend. There we go.
Oh, but does she secretly want to get all his money and fleece him? Wait, we have that.
He's been fleeced 3 times. I don't think he's got anything left. He's his shirt on his back. Oh, don't take that off. Keep that on. Oh dear. Anyway, sorry, we're supposed to be talking about Perri, and I got sidetracked about Hannah Waterman.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
No, it's me. So poor Perri. So Jamie says, poor Perri. That scene with him zoning out was so well done and realistic, and I agree with that. In the courtroom when he was like zoning out, and there was a scene at home as well, wasn't there, where he was sort of having that panic and before he ran out.
Yeah, the on-screen effects, the camera turning round, and
and the
it's
kind
all,
of the zoning out of the voices and stuff, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, the echoiness and the
It's really good. It makes you feel like, doesn't it? Just you can feel the anxiety that you must be feeling in that situation. I agree. Really, really good. They were talking in the court case about, where's the evidence that Perri's dad was violent, and where's the evidence that he abused him, and we need a witness that saw it, and all of this sort of stuff. And Jamie brought up a really good point on Twitter. Jamie said there was a knife in the AVO letter, for fuck's sake. So wasn't that evidence of intent to cause violence towards Perri? And I thought, you're right. He had that AVO letter on the chopping block in the kitchen, didn't he? With the big sort of carving knife or whatever it was. Stuck through it. So, yeah.
Yeah, the whole investigation. I've said this in the main bit. I'm sure I've said it a few times to you. It was just horrendously weak and thin, like tracing paper investigation. Charges are wrong. They only really arrested him on grounds of that he ran.
Yeah.
And he literally went to the beach.
Yeah, exactly.
And that basically banged him to rights. It's all, the whole thing is just daft, really.
It is, yeah.
So the fact that a knife on the chopping block gets overlooked does not surprise me.
You think there'd be pictures of that though, wouldn't you? Like police crime scene pictures of it on the worktop with the knife through.
Or Tani, can you explain this knife, please? Or during an interview, when they're wrecking the blooming Cash lives there. It's probably Cash's knife. Why is he not being in? Can you explain what your knife's doing there? Or you know what I mean?
Yeah. It wasn't even talked about, was it, at all?
No. Again, shock. It's the first thing we saw, that scene in the season finale. It shocked us. Shit, he's in the house. He's got him. What's gone on? Where are they?
Yeah.
And then it's sort of, we're used to it.
Yeah. Yes, we are, unfortunately. Mr. David on Twitter says, "Can I be honest?"
Oh, if you must.
Are you ready for this? He says, I couldn't care less about what happens to Perri, LOL. I love it when you put the LOL to soften the blow. Always makes me laugh. Yeah. Couldn't care less about what happens to Perri. But Mr. David
Is this
redeemed
the
himself.
Mr. David? It's not a Mr. David imposter.
No, it's the Mr. David.
You know how sometimes someone makes a profile of your auntie and starts adding people on Facebook, and then they go, "I've been hacked. Don't accept."
And you get a message saying, "I'm stuck in Dublin and I've lost my wallet. Can you send me some money?" And you're like, you've never been out of the county, love. I know you're not in Dublin.
Like, will the real Auntie Sharon please stand up? And you're like, you haven't been hacked, Sharon. Someone's cloned your profile. Is it one of those? Have we got the wrong Mr. David here?
No, this is real Mr. David. Real Mr. David.
Oh.
But and that's fair enough. Some people aren't enjoying this storyline.
Yeah.
And that's fair enough.
Or
but
not invested in Perri as much as us.
Yeah, I mean, I think he said he's not on the edge of the seat worrying about him. I think that's what he said. It's not making him like we are. We were like, oh my God, what's going to happen to him? David's just not there with this storyline.
Yeah.
But Mr. David did make me laugh after this because he said, "This Perri storyline is giving me kidney bitch deja vu." Because of the mum coming back from the dead thing.
Yeah.
So it was like, A, I love the fact that kidney bitch is catching on.
I know, that's so funny.
And B, yeah, it's just redeemed yourself, David, in my eyes. for not enjoying the Perri thing so much.
Your wit has meant that you live another day.
Exactly. Julie on Twitter is invested in the Perri storyline because Julie says, how would his mother not try and find out if Perri was doing okay?
Exactly, Julie.
Exactly. Knowing full well what his dad was like, I'm with Perri on this. It would be hard to forgive her saying that he's got his mum back. Yeah.
Well, they do say blood's thicker than water. Or Tani.
It's not thicker than Tani.
There's not many things that are thicker than Tani.
Don't be ridiculous. Oh dear. Oh dear. And Jamie is another one that's, as caught up as we are in the Perri story. So Jamie says Perri's arguably the most tragic character there's been in Home and Away history.
Oh, that's a statement, Jamie.
It is. There's been a lot of tragic people.
Yeah.
I do agree. I mean, he's I think because he's so young, he's only 18 and he's been through literally 18 years worth of crap. It feels like the most tragic character there's ever been. I think the only thing that would make him the most tragic character now was if he got his mum back, they reconciled, and then he got hit by a bus. You know what I mean?
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
Then he would be literally the most tragic character there's ever been.
As they drive off into, off to the airport to New Zealand, they go off a cliff or something. Yeah.
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 That would be the
right.
worst, I think.
Yeah.
He's got a chance now, hasn't he? Because he is young. He's got a chance to go on and do something and have a good life, I think.
Yeah. It could become like the Home and Away Final Destination spin-off of him just trying to stay alive. Without his parents.
Oh my God, I would watch that. I would. Every time he walks under a scaffold, he's like, oh my God, it's today. Oh dear. I would absolutely watch that.
Yeah.
Okay, what about Facebook then? Facebook, what do they think of Perri?
Oh, we're back on Facebook.
Yeah, should we go and see what they say?
Yeah.
Are you brave enough?
Yeah, I'm holding my breath.
Fair enough. Elaine on Facebook says, I love Perri's character and I feel so sorry for him. Elaine.
Sorry, I had to do that. I will listen to the comment now. Go on.
It's Elaine. Oh God, you've lost me now. I'm thinking about Kim Fox. Oh, the ExtEnders. When she used to call Janine Janice. Janice, what you need to do is, she's like, my name's Janine for the millionth time. Oh, dear. I used to love that. Hilarious. You've lost it, haven't you?
So, yes, I'm totally gone. What's Elaine saying?
Elaine says, I love Perri and I feel so sorry for him. I'm praying that he doesn't go to prison. Obviously this was before the court case, and I hope he gets a happy ending. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, no, don't say it, Si.
No, are we not going there?
No.
What? Tell me after. Write it down. Tell me after. Okay.
Yeah. Happy endings.
Oh, no. He's gone to the spa with his mum. Oh no. Couples massage. Oh, sorry. Oh God, you weren't going to do it, and I brought it down. Oh dear. Oh dear. No, right. serious podcast. Oh dear. I tell you what though, there was some funny comments on Facebook about Perri this week.
Right.
So Elaine obviously was saying she feels sorry for him. But Elizabeth says he needs to cheer up and smile more. I thought, what's he got to smile about? He's on trial for murdering his father, and his mum's just come back from the dead.
His dead mum's just walked in the courtroom.
I did find this bizarre, and nobody replied to.
Cheer up.
Her. She did. She's put, he needs to cheer up and smile more. Yes, honestly, sorry. I scrolled up. I was like, "Am I on the wrong post?" It was the Perri post. Bizarre. Poor Perri needs to smile more. He's only murdered his dad. Come on, smile. Give us a smile.
Yeah, miserable sod.
Elizabeth, I'm not sure what you meant by that, to be honest, love. But there we go. And Joanne says Perri really winds me up.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and
Joanne.
Just Joanne. I'm saying them all weird now.
I know.
Joanne. Oh dear. And somebody called Dean replied to Joanne, and said, "Yeah, he's a bit annoying. He's a bit annoying."
Oh.
And then she put, "But the character has been through a lot." I was like,
Yeah.
He's entitled to be. If you find him
Yeah.
annoying, he's entitled to be annoying.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's because this week he's been sort of standing up to Tane and back, and sort of
maybe
because Tane, Teflon Tane and all, he's got a big fan base, hasn't he?
Mm.
I wonder if it's because it was those scenes where he stood up to him and was like, "You've done nothing for me, I shouldn't have listened to you."
Yeah,
I wonder if it's that. Maybe
it could be, couldn't it? Yeah, the context isn't there. It's just that opinion. So I don't know. But maybe now, poor Perri is no longer a murderer and he's got his mommy back. Maybe he'll start to smile more and Elizabeth will be happy. You never know.
He might be a bit more cheery.
Please take the time to like, subscribe, and review Coastal News wherever you source your podcasts and ensure you never miss an episode.